There are some certain things I wish I knew when I was very, very young. When I was still very young, I wish I knew those things. That was a period I was in school. That was a period I was, in the early stage of my life. And today, even though it is never too late, I still believe I can pursue those things which I did not do when I was very, very young. When I was in school, there are some certain things the school did not teach me and which affected me one way or the other in terms of building up my finances and becoming very wealthy at the early stage of my life. Now, if you ask me, what are the things the school did not teach me? The school did not teach me how to make money. Number two, the school did not teach me how to manage money. And number three, the school did not teach me how to make money work for me. So these three things are very, very important. The school will not teach you how to make money also, and the school will not teach you how to manage money. And three, the school will not teach you how to make money work for you. I think this problem is a general phenomenon and it is peculiar to everybody at one stage or the other in our lives. And that's the reason why we find ourselves where we are today. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, that the school system is not a good one. The school system is very good. It is unique. It is spectacular. It is informative. It is educative. It is, everything you can ever imagine. But unfortunately, the school system make us to rely on the society to take care of us. That is the essence of the school. That when you come out from your school, you need to work for somebody and you need to save up some money over the years. And after some time, you can now retire. That is the concept, that is the idea, that is the brain behind the school system. You go to school, you get educated, you get a job, you start saving money for retirement. But over time, this concept or idea has been proven wrong. Unfortunately, for example, in Nigeria, one out of three Nigerians does not even have a retirement plan or money saved up for retirement. They earn the money, they spend the money. They earn that money, there is no savings, there is no investment. That is the society we find ourselves. So, at the end of the day, how many Nigerians are actually retiring well? Maybe few out of what? Millions that can say categorically and emphatically that they can retire with bliss. That even when they are not working again, what they are going to eat for the rest of their life has been provided over the period of time. That is what they are going to retire on is already made available. But majority of Nigerians are not in this category because of the fact that the school system does not teach us how to make money, how to make money work for us, and how to manage money. And this is the reason why, even when some people are very, very old and they are already at the stage of retirement, for example, 65 years, most of them are still working even at that age. At the age of 65, when they are supposed to retire, they are still working night and day because there is nothing for retirement. There is nothing to retire upon. There is no saving. There is no investment. There is no retirement plan. A lot of people will blame you for not being able to manage your money, or will blame us for not being able to manage the money. But the real fact is that the school does not teach us how to manage money. They will teach us other things, but they will never teach us how to manage money. We were told that money is evil when we are growing up. Even now, a lot of people from the religious aspect or religious side will tell you that money is evil, that money is the root of all evil, that you don't need to worry about money and all that. and that the rich people are exploitative and they are also evil. All these concepts, all this notion, all these ideas are totally wrong. If you want more on that video, I've done videos regarding that scenario. So we're told that money is evil and that wealthy people are also bad people. This is totally wrong. We were told not to worry about money. We were told not to put all our heart on money. Failing to understand that money answereth all things. Failing to understand that if you want to live a decent, fulfilled, and very productive life, you need money to carry out one thing or the other. By the time a lot of people realize the importance of money, it is already too late. Probably by that time, a lot of them are already old. Now, let's talk about compound interest. Because if you're talking about investment is actually compound. When you talk about compound, it means that whatever you have been able to put into it will multiply by two. That is the meaning of what of a compound. So let's talk about a compound. You need to understand that compound is cardinal or very important when we're talking about investment. You need to understand how the compound interest actually work. Because for the compound interest to actually work, you are going to need two things. Number one, you are going to need time, and number two, you are going to need what I call delayed gratification. For your investment to work, for you to be able to make money, it means that you have to take some part of the money which you earn at every end of the month and invest that money in order to make more money. In other words, when you earn that money, you are not supposed to spend all the money. You need to learn how to systemize your money. Systemizing your money simply means that when you earn the money, you divide the money into three parts. You divide the money into the one you will spend, into the one you will save, which is emergency, and into the one you will invest. The money for investment, you don't touch it. So for you to make money, for you to be able to make profit or make interest at the end of the day, you need to invest your money. When you make profit at the end of the day, that is when you actually invested this money and you make profit over a period of time, you are not supposed to touch that money. When you make that profit, you reinvest that money into your investment portfolio. I can remember some days back, I decided to put some money in a bank account. Like I put 120,000 into that bank account, and I wanted to see what they are going to give me at the end of the month. You see, when I calculated what they gave me roughly 700 and something naira for putting 120,000 naira into that bank account. Imagine what that one would do in my life. That's a very small amount of money. They now decided to calculate it in the form of a compound. That is, if I actually invested, 120,000 into my investment portfolio, how much is it going to get me? And the result was that it was going to get me about 27,000 naira. So imagine if I make 753 naira per month for 10 months. That means they are giving me 7,530 naira in 10 months. But if I invest my money, I am going to make roughly 29,000 or 30,000 naira at the end of the financial year. So which one is more profitable? To put your money in the bank or to invest your money in investment portfolio? So the money, the profit you make, in investment, you actually need to invest it. Then what we're also saying here is that when you make the profit, it is not the time to remember that you need a car. It is not the time for you to remember that you need to change your accommodation. It is not the time for you to remember that you need to go on an expensive vacation. It is not the time for you to spend that money on what? On expensive clothing. In other words, you need to avoid what I call extravagant lifestyle. So the profit made from investment should be reinvested and not be used for extravagant lifestyle. Compound interest is the eight wonders of the world because it accumulates over a period of time. The more you invest, the more money you make. So when you're talking about investment, it is not something you do for a short period of time, and that's why I was mentioning what I call delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is very important because you have to go through what I call the decade of a sacrifice. So the minimum number of years you can actually use to invest your money is like maybe 10 years, 5 to 10 years. Over that time, whatever you have put into that investment consistently over a long period of time will have compounded at the end of the day. So that means that if, for example, you invested like 20 million naira for a period of 10 years, that means that you are going to go home with about 37 million naira. That is a good amount of money after 10 years. With that money, you can actually retire comfortably without having any financial distress or financial stress at the end of the day. So a lot of people have always been saying that they can put their money in the bank account, that it is even more profitable and the rest of them. I've just told you now that I did that, and at the end of the day, I'm only going to make about 7,000 naira or 14 or 12,000 naira at the end of the financial year. If at all I did not touch that money. But if I touch that money, that amount might not even be up to that amount. So for people to say that putting money into the bank account is the surest means to becoming wealthy, that notion is totally wrong. So when you put your money in the bank account, it does not yield any profit and it does not yield any interest compared to what compound interest will give you when you invest your money into investment portfolios like money market funds or ALA funds or dollar funds or euro funds or even ETFs, equity trust funds, and so many of them like that you can invest your money. If you want more on this video too, I've done videos on the 5 areas where you can actually invest your money, like mutual funds, like commodity markets, like fixed assets, and the rest of them. I've done all these videos. So it's advisable to start investing your money at the early stage of your life. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot invest even at old age. We have seen people that have started investing even when they are very, very old. It does not matter. But if you want to make more money, if you want to retire at a early stage, probably you are retiring at the age of 40 or 45 years, then it is very important that you started investing at the early stage. When you start investing at the early stage, you are sure that you're going to make more money at the end of the day. So avoid what the majority of the people are doing in the society. And if you ask me, what are the things that majority people do? Majority people earn the money and they spend the money. They earn the money, they spend the money. This is common among the lower class and the middle class because most of them do not invest or save their money. So if you want to make money in 2026, if you want to become a millionaire in the future, now it is time for you to start investing. So I regretted at the early stage that when I was going to school, I was not taught how to make money. I was not taught how to manage money. And I was not taught how to make money to work for me. Even at the university level, at the secondary school level, the same problem still persisted. They will never teach you. And that is why for you to succeed in this economic system, for you to succeed in the free market economic system, for you to make it in a capitalist oriented economic system, for you to make it in a mixed economic system, you need what I call financial education. When you have financial education, you will understand how money works. You understand that money is a tool, and as a tool, it should be used for the creation of more wealth. Money should not be put in the bank where it is creating dust and you are making profit for other people and you are not making anything. This is 2026. Start investing now. You are going to make money and retire well when you invest your money. So these are my regrets when I was in school, that the school did not teach me how to make money. Now that I know, I have started making my money. It is not too late for you as well, irrespective of your age, whether you are 40 years or 50 years or 60 years, you can still make something out at the end of the day. And you can create what I call generational wealth, that your children that are coming can still taste a bit of your wealth. And you can also transfer this wealth from your children to the next generation that is yet to come. That is how you create wealth over the period of what? Of time. And at the end of the day, you will never regret your decision. All this is very expensive, like I always say. It is not something that is very, very easy. You don't need to be calling, Mr. A or Mr. B to feed you before you can actually take care of yourself. And that is the more reason you need to start investing today. I believe you have gained something in this video. If you have gained something, please, now is time for you to follow my page, share this video, and leave your comment on how to serve you better. Till I see you next time, thank you so much and goodbye.